How's it going, everyone? We have a very interesting story to cover in this video. Now, do I think this story and this class action lawsuit is gonna actually enact changes to the PlayStation Store? Y'all already know me, I'm pretty pessimistic when it comes to these kinds of things, but this is something we've been talking about for quite a while on this channel if you follow my coverage of various PlayStation Store prices and whatnot. But let's go over the post on MP first. Following the initial communications, the Mass Damage and Consumer Foundation in the Netherlands has filed a class action lawsuit against Sony, accusing the company of artificially inflating PlayStation Store prices by exploiting its dominant position in the digital game sales market. The Fair PlayStation campaign had already been announced last February, offering the public the chance to take legal action in a Dutch court, and the initiative officially begins in the coming days. Now, with over 20,000 signatures, as noted on MP First, link to their article in the description box below, the Mass Damage and Consumer Foundation has officially launched a lawsuit which aims to examine the pricing practices employed by Sony in managing the prices of digital games on the PlayStation Store. Now, before I continue, there is an aspect of Sony and their price points on the digital storefronts, and then also third-party publishers. There are a couple of games that stand out, and I cover them on this channel, where their physical counterparts are orders of magnitude, not just a slight $2 to $3 to $5 price differential, but their digital price points are exponentially higher than their physical price points. Why is that? I don't know. The issue primarily concerns the prices of digital games on the PlayStation Store, which the lawsuit claims are in many cases higher than their physical versions, despite lower distribution and publishing costs. Before I continue with the official post, let me just say, we covered Days of Play on this channel, and there were instances such as Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered being $29.99 on the physical stores, like the Amazons shipping you a physical copy, Best Buy having Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered for $29.99. On the PlayStation Store, Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered is on sale right now for $39.99. Why are we paying a $10 premium to play Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered? The same can be said for Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. The same can be said for a plethora of other games, and again, those are some PlayStation standouts, PlayStation published games that stand out to me as far as the price differentials. But if you want to talk about third-party games, Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1 was one of the standout examples that I'd been mentioning over and over again, where that game was readily available for $19.99 in stores. On the PlayStation Store, for whatever reason, it was priced at $42. By God, it finally went down to $29.99 recently, but if you follow this channel, you know every time MGS Master Collection Volume 1 went on sale, $42 on the PlayStation Store? Like, what are we doing here? $42 for that? And again, it's $20 in store. I could somewhat understand if it's a $2 to $3 price difference, and even then, the digital price points should be lower. They're making more money on the digital game sales. That's why PlayStation and every other publisher under the sun is trying to move you into a digital ecosystem, because they make so much more money off of that. However, why are there instances where games are even $5 to $10 more expensive? There are games like a Dragon Infinite Wealth going for $19.99 in stores, $25, $30, $35 on the PlayStation Store. Persona 3 Reload, the Sega games really do stand out to me as some of those games that do have a digital premium attached to them versus their physical sales price. And what I'm talking about in the comparison is the discounted price points of these games. Obviously, the MSRP for Master Collection, for example, Metal Gear Solid is like, whatever, it's $59.99 still. Who's paying $60 for that? No, you buy that game on sale. That's what I'm talking about. The post continues, many people notice that since the latest PlayStation 5 generation, they are increasingly being pushed towards digital-only consoles. These consoles work exclusively with digital games instead of physical discs. However, economic research has shown that consumers pay an average of 47% more of those digital versions than for the exact same game on a physical disc, while the distribution costs for Sony are lower. The foundation labels the practice as the Sony tax, which it's not exclusive to PlayStation, and again, third parties, you see this tax as well. The fact that Sony dares to go up by tens of percents without any quid pro quo is telling for what the proportions are. Sony is the only digital content provider on the world's most popular game console. Of all the Dutch people who have a game console at home, more than 80% have a PlayStation PlayStation, it can now afford to make decisions without having to worry much about what competitors, developers, or consumers are doing. I mean, that's a point that we've been bringing up so often, where we are in this dangerous territory where a lot of what gets traction on social media is crapping on Xbox and the Xbox guys crapping on PlayStation, when in reality, you want a healthy competitive marketplace where they're going back and forth and they have reason to keep you on one platform versus the other, because that's when they're going to incentivize giving you marquee exclusives that you want to play, not going after, let's say, a live service bag and then them being able to go after a live service bag and not facing any form of repercussions or consequences for that, because there's not another platform to actually be pushed towards, because Xbox is kind of cooked. They're putting their games on PlayStation. I want both platforms to be at a healthy state. I want the market to be very, very competitive, and I'm hoping that, you know, Xbox going this different route with their next generation of consoles, as we already know. Hopefully that could be a little bit of a kick in the rear end to Sony, but we'll see how that ultimately transpires. You want a competitive marketplace, not a marketplace where Sony's just dominating left, right, and center. That's not what you want. The issue raised is quite significant, as it ties to a well-known problem of the digital market being exclusively tied to consoles. And on top of that, if you compare it to PC, at least you have multiple storefronts. You have a Steam, you have a GOG, you have an Epic Games Store that, to get people onto the Epic Games Store, they're literally giving away free games. And even on Steam, you've got other e-tailers like Green Man Gaming, a Humble Bundle, that sell you Steam keys, but they'll do it at a different price point or even at a deeper discount. It's a more competitive marketplace on PC, where it is more open, where you do have more storefronts. On PlayStation, it is so locked down, and as the generations progress and we move more and more to the digital side of things, as the PlayStation 5 Pro has shown, people will move over to a digital-only console, and in the future, I could see digital-only consoles becoming much more prevalent. The price points are different. They're gonna want to incentivize people to move to digital-only, because they're gonna make money hand over fist on all digital sales versus physical sales, but that also gives them the opportunity where they control the marketplace, they structure the price points, and maybe in the future, more games are going to go towards digital-only release, and we won't even have a comparative landscape where, hey, I can at least look at Metal Gear Solid Master Collection is selling for $19.99 on all these websites for a physical copy. Why is it $42? In the future, it could be a Metal Gear Solid Master Collection or a game of that archetype gets a digital-only release. It just holds up in price, and you won't even have the comparative ability to see something that is being sold in stores, and you're just paying that digital premium. Ultimately, Sony's gonna make more money, but that money isn't gonna come to the back end in rewarding the consumer for buying their games digitally. In fact, they're gonna charge you more for these digital games. Sony has done it, Sega has done it, Konami has done it. I don't know who makes these decisions, and you could also say partly it's the Best Buys and the Amazons that are going the extra mile in discounting these games further. But how about they do us a solid? You're making more money on the digital sales. I'm not saying forego all of the extra money that you're making, but do us a little bit of a solid and give us a little bit better of a discount. All I'm saying is Master Collection Volume 1 being $42 on the PlayStation Store and $20 for a physical copy is just outrageous. You know, sell me a Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth for $20 on the PlayStation Store, like it goes on sale for $20 on, for a physical copy of the game. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for them to completely forego slash MSRPs or slash the release prices of these games. That would be great, but I'm being realistic with what I'm asking, and I think being realistic, I could at least say, hey, put some of these digital games on a deeper discount. Why are some of these games still at such a premium when physically they're cheaper? And, some publishers, they just hold value and they believe their games are worth a certain value, like a Square Enix, for example. You'll see a lot of their games, even like a Dio Field Chronicle, which wasn't the best received game in the world. For some reason, that game's still $20. That's just Square Enix being Square Enix. But in the case of like a Master Collection Volume 1 or some of these Sega games, or even the PlayStation titles like Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered and Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, why are they exponentially cheaper physically than they are digitally? That's a problem, and that's something we do have to look at. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Will this actually lead to anything, guys? I'm pessimistic, and I'm always led to believe no, we're not going to get anything good out of these things, but hey, at least credit to them for making that fight. And it doesn't stop at digital games, man. When we go all digital, PlayStation Plus prices increase. All of the price points are going to increase over time, and when they have you locked into that ecosystem, they have more control and more power to do that even more so. And when you don't have a competitive marketplace, Sony's going to be a lot more confident in being like, hey, we'll up the price of PlayStation Plus. Where are you gonna go? Where are you actually gonna go? You want to stay in the console business? You want to go to Xbox, where they're doing a lot of things that are questionable as well? Nah, you're gonna shut up, you're gonna sit down, you're gonna pay the PlayStation Plus premium prices or PlayStation Plus essential prices if you want to play online, and if you don't want to play online, guess you're out of luck and you're not going to be playing games, and that's not going to be a lot of people. They want to play their NBA 2K online, they want to play their Black Ops online, they'll pay the premium for PlayStation Plus. That's just the reality of this situation. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.